The Brush and the Wind. A parable about art and Pliny. Artesichand, the painter of 1,000 mountains. Long ago in the province of Yunshu, nestled between misty rivers and blue-green hills, there lived a painter named Lian. His fame stretched across kingdoms, for his landscapes were said to hold the breath of the mountains themselves. Lian painted with ink and rice paper. He did not paint to please kings or win coin. He painted because something in his chest stirred when clouds rolled over ridges, or when a single pine bent beneath the snow. People called him the Brush of Heaven. Once, a powerful governor sent messengers bearing gold and silk to Lian's humble cottage. They bowed and said, "The governor wishes you to paint the 4 seasons of heaven for his palace. He will pay any price." Lian replied gently, "Tell the governor I thank him, but I do not paint on command." The messengers blinked. But why refuse such an honor? Lian smiled. The river does not flow because it is asked. It flows because it must. And so, he returned to his solitude, painting only when the wind or stillness moved through him. Tarantois, the boy with no shadow. One winter, a boy named Y came to the cottage. He wore no shoes, and his eyes were wide as moons. He bowed deeply. "Master Lian," he said, "I wish to learn the art of painting." Lian studied him. "Why do you want to paint?" he asked. "Because your paintings move people. They bring peace. I want to create something beautiful." Lian nodded. "Then stay. But leave your ideas at the door." Y was confused, but he stayed. The empty scroll. On the first day, Y was given a broom, not a brush. "For 100 days, Lian said, sweep the path and watch the clouds." I thought this odd, but he obeyed. He swept leaves. He fetched water. He watched how wind rippled through rice paddies, how cranes landed without sound, how moonlight painted shadows on stone. After 100 days, Lian handed him a scroll. "Paint," he said. "Why's that?" Brush in hand, but nothing came. He tried to remember the strokes he had seen Lian use, but when he tried to copy them, they looked lifeless. "I don't know how," he whispered. Lian only smiled. "Good. The mountain that would not be painted." As the years passed, Y painted often. He painted plum blossoms in spring, temple bells in autumn, the hush of snowfall at night. But one painting eluded him. Mount Heng, the sacred peak that towered in the north. He climbed it many times, sat for hours, sketched its shape again and again. But whenever he tried to paint it, the result felt hollow. He showed the attempts to Lian, frustrated. "Why can I not capture it?" Lian studied the scrolls, then said simply, "Because you are still trying to paint a mountain. Let the mountain paint itself through you." I didn't understand. But how? Lian stood and pointed to the bamboo grove swaying in the wind. "You see the brush? It moves because of your hand. But your hand must move because of something deeper. Not your will, but your surrender." V. The silence between strokes. So I began again. But this time, he did not paint with force. He sat beneath the peak in silence for days. He watched how mist gathered in its folds, how shadows moved like breathing. He listened not with ears, but with stillness. One morning, he awoke before dawn, lit a lantern, and picked up the brush. But he did not think. He did not try. His hand moved gently. Pause. Sweep. Pause. Like wind across water. When the sun rose, he looked down. There on the scroll was not just a mountain. It was the silence of the dawn, the hush of stone, the breath of the sky. He wept. Lian, standing quietly nearby, bowed. "No," he said, "you are no longer painting. You are being painted." Havai Temsti Bubani, Guptatator Benate. The Emperor's command. Years passed. Lian grew old and passed into the wind. Wei remained quiet and serene. One day, an imperial envoy came with a gold scroll, bearing the seal of the Emperor himself. The Son of Heaven commands that you paint a scroll for the Hall of Eternity, the envoy said. A painting that will live forever. Wei nodded. He went to the mountain, gathered water, ground his own ink, and painted a single bamboo leaf. When the Emperor saw it, he was silent for a long time. Then he whispered, "What is this?" One of the ministers scoffed. "It is only a leaf." But the Emperor shook his head. "No, it is the sound of wind through bamboo. It is the echo of morning dew. It is the infinite in a single breath." He ordered it hung alone on a wall of white jade, and no other painting was placed beside it. Closing reflection. True art is not an act of creation, but an act of surrender. The brush does not speak louder than the wind. It listens. The artist does not impose the self onto the world, but disappears until the world speaks through them. A great painting is not just seen. It is felt, like rain on skin, or silence in the soul.